platform. Now, our next guest is also from India, Dr. Bhagirathsinh Jadeja, and is going to talk about the three beacons of light, the Krishna, the Buddhist, and the Gandhian philosophy. Dr. Jadeja is the founder and chairperson of Aavahan, Your Inner Calling, a corporate and education consulting firm. He is a student of the life coach, Mr. Anthony Robbins from the USA. He is a leadership trainer, an NLP coach, NAC trainer, psychologist, counselor, mythologist, and also a therapist. His aim is to help people discover what they are truly capable of. Namaste and welcome, Bhagirathsinh Ji, and welcome to Ho. And before we go into what you're about to present today, let me also call on Dr. Lalit Soda, my colleague and co-host, as he'd like to have a quick word with you as well.
Hello, Sarita. How are you?
I am good, Dr. Soda. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so excited to say a big hello to my dear friend, Bhagirathsinh Jadeja. He's an awesome speaker and you're going to love it. So, global namaste to you, Bhagirath ji.
Global namaste, Lalit bhai. Thank you so much. It's so lovely to see you back. I was just going through the list and I thought, okay, you are not hosting when I'm going to speak, so I'm going to miss you. But I think you read my mind.
We were definitely destined to meet today, but I'll let you carry on with your talk. It's people are excited to listen to you, so you carry on. All the best. Thank you very much.
Actually, before you go, Dr. Soda, since you've got the first-hand knowledge on Dr. Jadeja, why don't you give us a quick three-sentence summary on what you believe Dr. Jadeja is about, so it can get the people more excited.
Absolutely. This gentleman, again, my contact with him is pretty much from social media and the social media platforms. We've conducted a Zoom session personally with him where he came and spoke immensely about the mind and how we should focus on getting ourselves ahead in life. A student of Anthony Robbins, who I also have been one. So it was just a great connection coming from the same school of thought. And his way of talk, his explanations just hits home. So a super amazing and exciting speaker.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Dr. Soda. Over to you, Dr. Jadeja.
Global namaste.
Global namaste.
First of all, Sarita ji, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm deeply honored. It is an immense honor and a privilege to be here, to be invited by Healing Our Earth group to speak on this session. This global free online motivational and inspirational session. It's a privilege. It's a total honor and privilege. When Nil Kumar Bhai approached me for this session, and I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Lalit Bhai and also Meena Auntie for recommending my name here, that he's a speaker who should speak. So when Nil Kumar Bhai approached me, he sent me that wonderful poster, this poster of the event. And I saw that wonderful quote that was written on that: be the change you want to see in the world. That's one of my favorite quotes of Mahatma Gandhi. So when he asked me to speak, he said, would you speak something on Mahatma Gandhi? So I was like, okay, sure, I'll speak on him. But then I started asking myself, what should I speak? Because I didn't want it to speak on non-violence, because that is spoken by so many people. And Gandhiji is known worldwide for his non-violence, the movement that he did. And also, I never wanted to speak on relevance of the Gandhian philosophy in 21st century, because there's so much debate and discussion going on there, pros and cons, both. So I said, no, I want to speak something different. So what should I speak? So when I was asking that question to myself, and when I was seeking the answer to it so desperately, something hit me. And that was the journey. the journey of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to Mahatma. And I was like, okay, this journey is really interesting. This has some subtle messages, some learning, some philosophy that can be shared. But then I asked myself again, is this the only journey that can give inspiration to people? And I looked back in the history and I got many other journeys. And I selected 3. The journey of Mohan, which is one of the name of Krishna. The journey of Mohan to Dwarikadish, the Lord of Dwarka. The journey of Siddharth to Buddha. And journey of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to Mahatma Gandhi. So I selected these 3. Yes, obviously there are many other wonderful journeys. Journeys of Kautilya to become Chanakya, the journey of Chand Ashok to become the Samrat Ashok, the journey of Shankar to become the Adi Shankaracharya. There are many. But I selected these 3 particularly because these 3 people have not just inspired the generation, they have inspired the culture, and also they have triggered the idea of a nation. And that's very important because we are living this philosophy. Whether we agree to that, whether we don't agree to that, we are living this. So this 3 beacons of light is a talk from Mohan to Mohandas, the journey that was traveled, and what are the teachings for that. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the journey of each, but I would rather select 5 teachings that I want to share with you all because these 3 have much in common. They have traveled a lot, they have thought a lot, and they have influenced the masses. So they have something in common. So I have gone through all the 3 lives and I have selected 5 things for you people, and I want to share that with you. So I'll quickly go through that. First, one thing that I found very interesting, the first preliminary thing in all the 3, that is Lord Krishna, Lord Buddha, and Mahatma Gandhi. In this journey of a man becoming a god, man becoming a religion, and a man becoming a Mahatma, the 3 journeys have one thing in common, the first and foremost. They worked on themselves. That is first very important thing. They worked on themselves. If you look at Lord Krishna, when he defeated his uncle, the king of Mathura, Kans, he was offered the throne of Mathura, but he chose not to go for the throne. He chose to go for the Gurukul, to study under Rishi Sandipani. He chose to go for that. And that made all the change. He chose to work on himself. Result, instead of taking the throne of Mathura, he was able to build the golden city for himself, the city of Dwarka. And not just that, he became the kingmaker. He visualized an entire empire, the empire of Aryavrat. And he united all the states into one nation and built an empire and made Yudhishthira the emperor. So Krishna chose to work on himself. Same goes for Lord Buddha. When he was Siddharth, he was actually searching his answers. It was his suffering. He chose to live his state, his palace, his everything, and go for a life which was full of trouble. He chose to work on himself. He chose to seek the answers, and that answers took him to become Lord Buddha. And Mahatma Gandhi, his book, The Experiments of the Truth, autobiography of Gandhi. We were just seeing this wonderful documentary just before my talk. We were seeing this wonderful documentary. And in that documentary, we saw how much he has worked on himself. People say the trigger period in Mahatma Gandhi's life was when he was thrown out of train, when he was traveling in South Africa. I think no, the trigger period started, his change, his way of working on himself started when he accepted whatever he did wrong in front of his father. I think that's the moment the change started. So first and foremost thing that these people have in common is they worked on themselves. That's the first message that they have given to us. Second teaching. Now, before I go for the second teaching, I would like to make the connections also. So when you decide, okay, I want to work on myself, the first question comes to your mind, how? What are the tools I have in my hand? What do I have in my hand that I can use to work on my own self? That's the first question that comes to mind. So answering that, we have the second teaching. What they had in their hands, what was the tool that these people used to work on themselves? That leads us to second teaching, pain. They took pain. They have suffered pain a lot. If you study their lives in detail, how much ever you agree with them, how much ever you criticize them, you will have to agree these three people have suffered a lot. But they made that pain their tool, their weapon to work on themselves. Take the life of Krishna. Take the life of Krishna. We have Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, the chapter 1 is Arjun Vishad Yug, the pain of Arjun, but no one talks about Krishna Vishad. When Krishna had to kill his own uncle, how much pain he would have suffered? He was blamed, he was insulted, he was abused throughout his life. He was told he was a politician, he was fighting someone else's war, and he had to take a curse of destroying his own entire family. But he took it, he accepted it, and that made him Lord Krishna. No one talks about the pain of Krishna. Krishna has suffered immense pain. No one is discussing that. I am recently writing a book. My novel is based on the pain of Krishna. That is what Krishna is. If you go to Lord Buddha, Buddha's journey started with pain. He could not see people suffering. He was suffering. He was feeling their pain. If you go to the stories of Buddha's life, you will find that, he saw that animal fighting that was an annual festival in his father's kingdom. When he saw that, he was crying. His father said, what happened? He said, I cannot see these animals in pain. He was suffering that pain of people. And not just that, no one is asking this question. When he left his palace, wouldn't Prince Siddharth would have felt that pain of leaving wife and a newborn child? Obviously, he would have suffered that pain. But he took that pain and he went in search of the answers which can put mankind in a state where there is no pain. And that actually led to his journey. And Mahatma Gandhi's journey is also full of pain. He is still abused for many things when he is not even alive. The pain is still continuing, but he chose to make that pain his path. Whatever insult that he faced, whatever abuses that he faced, whatever negative emotions that he faced, during his stay in South Africa, even when he was young, he was very skin-thinned, slim person. He was bullied by other people. He has suffered that pain. But these people, they chose to make the pain their weapon, and they worked with that weapon. If I can summarize that pain wala into a formula which I can give you today, I'll put it in a simple way. Something that happens in your life plus acceptance is equal to positive emotions. Something that happens in your life plus non-acceptance is equal to negative emotions. Suppose something happens in your life. If I give an example, if something happens in your life which is not okay according to you, if you accept it, it is tolerance. If you don't accept it, anger. Positive, negative. If someone has got something that you don't have, if you accept it, it becomes inspiration. I don't have that today, but maybe I'll have it tomorrow. That's inspiration. But if you don't accept, yes, someone has something that I don't have, jealousy, negative emotion. So if you accept something, positive. If you don't, negative. That's a simple formula. They choose to accept their pains. Pain became their tool. So first, they worked on themselves. What tool they used? They used pain as that tool. Now the question comes is, how to implement that philosophy into action? how to use that pain into action. So that takes us to the third teaching from their lives. Use small things, put small actions, take small actions, take small steps. They did small things. I meet so many youngsters every day, and this is what I face every day. When I talk to them about their dreams, their ambition, their goal, they come up with, I want to do this, I want to be Ambani, I want to be Zuckerberg, I want to be Jobs. But you start with something small first. Look at Krishna, what did he do? He used to steal butter, Makhan Chor. That is what his name was. Why he was stealing butter? Because butter used to go as a tax to the king of Mathura. He was attacking the economy. He inspired the people not to worship Indra, the lord of the gods. But he said, instead, worship Govardhan, the mountain. Nature awareness, going towards nature. He was inspiring small things. Rasa Leela, a social function, promoting art. He was doing small things that connected him to people. That is what Krishna was. You take Buddha. One simple breathing technique he used and he gave to people. He used it for 7 years. He got enlightenment. He gave it to people. Vipassana. That is inspiring the whole world today. Small thing, no big thing. Simple. Focus on your breath. Simple thing, small thing. Imagine small thing. You focusing on your breath, changing your life. He never gave many complicated techniques. Buddha gave one simple technique. Focus on your breath. Vipassana. You take Mahatma Gandhi. He was doing small things. Non-cooperation movement. Dandi salt satyagraha. Khadi movement. Ayurveda. What was all this? The small thing. Start with something small. People always aim to do something big. No. Big things happen because of small steps. They forget that. If you want to build a house, start with a brick. They forget that. And that is making the whole difference. I see people, and when I take sessions, no, they are talking about health. I take on mental health and all. And when they are saying, sir, I'll start from tomorrow. I'm going to work on myself. Tomorrow, I'm going to run for 10 kilometers. Why start with 10 minutes? You know you're not going to fulfill that. And therefore, you won't be consistent in that. So third thing is take small steps. So first was work on yourself. What is the tool you have? Pain. How to implement that philosophy? Take small steps. How to make it consistent and how to achieve success. That is the fourth question that will come in mind. So fourth is connect to masses. They connected to masses. See, that's a one simple, natural thing in us, in our mind as human. When we go and commit anything in public, we will not allow any of our fear to fail us. Krishna, Buddha, and Mahatma Gandhi connected to masses. Imagine a shepherd, a gwala. Right now, it is my Krishna for everyone. He connected to so many people. My Krishna. Mera Kanhaiya. Buddha, my Buddha. Buddha is now icon. Imagine Krishna, how much Krishna inspired. If I tell to youth, I always say, he is not just Yogeshwar. One of the Krishna's name is Yogeshwar. He is not just Yogeshwar, he is Yutheshwar also. He is inspiring the youth. The Lord of the youth. If I put it in terms of, like, for example, every king was wearing the crown. He chose to put a feather, style icon. He was connecting. He was connecting to the mass. Buddha is the icon of spirituality. If you go to any place who is showing, advertising spirituality, they will have an image of Buddha. If you go to Feng Shui, laughing Buddha, sleeping Buddha, Buddha in meditative state, Buddha is the icon of spirituality. He is connected to the masses. When Buddha was born, it was prophesied either he will be an emperor or he will be a great person who will inspire generation. He chose to be the great person. He could have been the king, but then the empires came to his feet. Imagine the great Ashok took the Buddhist religion inspired by his teachings. He connected to masses. So same goes for Mahatma Gandhi. There are so many freedom struggles. You may criticize Gandhi at many points. You may agree with Gandhi's philosophy. You may disagree with Gandhi's philosophy. But when people ask me what is the difference between other freedom struggles that happened before Mahatma Gandhi came into picture and the freedom struggle that Mahatma Gandhi led, there is only one major difference that I can see. When the wars of freedom struggle were fought before Gandhi came into the picture, it was fought by an army. And when Gandhiji led the freedom struggle, it was fought by the people. He connected to the masses. Now that is 4 things. Work on yourself. Use pain as your tool. Take small steps. Connect to masses. But then, how do you keep going? How do you get new ideas? How do you update yourself? Because you have to. That brings me to the last teaching that is coming from these 3 people. That is, be your own inspiration. Don't rely on outside source. Be your own inspiration. Krishna gave entire Bhagavad Gita. There can be no spiritual greater message of spirituality than Bhagavad Gita. But at the end of Bhagavad Gita, when he is telling Arjuna what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what should be done, what should not be done, he says only one sentence, Yathechasi tatha kuru. Do what you feel is right. That is the message of Krishna. What did Buddha say? Buddha was on his deathbed. He was about to die. He called all his students or his pupils, his followers. They were all surrounding Buddha. Buddha said, I'm about to leave my body. I'm about to die. Is there any question in your mind? You may please ask me. So all said, no, you taught us for 40 years. You answered our questions for 40 years. Now we don't have any questions for you. But there was one disciple of his own cousin, Anand. He was crying very badly. Buddha said, why you are crying? Everyone has to die. I'm also going to die. You are also going to die. Death is certain. That is the only truth. Why are you crying? And at that time, Anand said, I'm not crying because you are going. I'm crying because I am with you since 40 years, but I never got enlightenment. What will I do if you are gone? And Buddha said his last teaching, Apa Dipo Bhava. Be the light unto yourself. And the day Buddha died, next day Anand got his enlightenment. That was Buddha's last message to the world. And Mahatma Gandhi, it is in the poster of this session, be the change you want to see in the world. They are asking you to be inspired by your own self. The world has teaching. Inspiration comes from within. Motivation comes from outside. If you want to really do something in your world, something for yourself, something for people around you, something for people whom you love, you have to get inspired by you. So 3 beacons of light, the Krishna, the Buddhist, and the Gandhian philosophy has 5 major teachings that I predict. First, work on yourself. Make pain your tool. Take small steps. Connect to mass and be the inspiration for yourself. So if I have to connect, Yathechasi tatha kuru, apadipo bhava, and be the change you want to see in the world, and conclude this into one sentence, then do what you feel is right in your life, because you are the light for your own self, and you will have to do something. You will have to take action, because you only can be the change you want to see in this world. Thank you. Over to you, Saritaji. If there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Yes, please. Sorry, it's just that was absolutely amazing, and they're all really understandable, really relatable points you've given out as well. So let's actually start with point number 1. That you work on yourself, right? So what can people do to start kickstart that work onto themselves, as in their work? What do they need to do?
I think first and foremost thing that people need to do is accept themselves. You need to accept yourself. We are not living our lives. We are living lives with masks. And we think that mask is our reality. No, we need to accept ourselves. We need to accept our life. We need to accept it is okay to be happy. It is okay to be sad. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to feel down. It's okay to feel depressed. It is okay to fail in life. It's okay to not to reach to your goals sometimes. It is completely fine. I think first thing that we need to do is accept ourselves. We are not accepting ourselves. We are trying to live someone else's life in someone else's terms and in someone else's way. So I think the first thing we need to do is accept ourselves. And I am telling Saritaji, very, very small thing. The day I started accepting myself, okay, this will not work for me. I am this. And that made all the change in my life. We want world to accept us, but we don't accept ourselves. There is a saying in Gujarati, કોઈ આપણને જાણે એ બહુ ગમે, પણ કોઈ જાણી જાય એ ન ગમે. ઓળખે એ ગમે, પણ આપણને ઓળખી જાય એ ન ગમે. That means, if I translate, we want the world to know us, but we don't want the world to know real us. And then we expect, everything in the career. If you are working, you want your boss and everyone to understand you, understand your situation. You want your family to understand you. You want your partner to understand you. You want the whole world to understand you. But do you accept yourself? Do you understand yourself? So start with that. Accept yourself, whatever it is. Change happens once you accept it. If you don't, nothing is going to change in your life. So I think that's the first step, I think, where people should start with.
Okay, so now let's go to the second step, where you said use pain as a tool to make things happen. And there may be some people in our audience who say, what pain? I don't actually feel pain. So does that mean I have to feel pain to make things happen? Or are there other ways I can make things happen? Or can I use anything else as a motivation to make things happen?
I think the problem starts as this. We are being taught ever since when we were a child that there are some things which are good and there are some things which are bad. So you have to accept the good, you have to reject the bad. Now the fact is, there is no universal definition of good and bad. Right? Something that is good for you is bad for me, and something that is good for me may be bad for you. And the pain actually starts from there, where I have been taught to reject something, but I have a deepest desire to do that. And I get into a struggle with my own self and I end up in pain. And then, we are asking, what should I do? What should I do? So yes, it is not necessary that you always have to end up in pain to start your journey. The point is, you need to accept whether it is pain or pleasure. You need to accept it and you need to work on it. If I put it in terms of my guru, that is Anthony Robbins' word, everything that we do in our life is either to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. And most of the time it is to avoid pain. I read in your bio, you are also NLP master. So you know this much better than me, and you will be able to understand and connect much better. People run away from pain. I want to just put it is not necessary to start from pain, but the fact is this: when we start rejecting some portion of our life, we don't accept some portion of our life, that's where the pain starts. So the moment you face that pain, that portion is accepted. The portion, when it is accepted, the pain has become your friend rather than your enemy. So I think that's what people need to do.
Amazing. And the next 3 points are completely self-explanatory in terms of the baby steps, the connect to the masses, and to be your own inspiration. I think you're absolutely right in that unless you want things to happen, things won't happen. So you just have to be your own inspiration. So Completely agree with that. And I can see that Dr. Soda is back as well. So I wonder if he would like to add anything at all, Dr. Soda.
All I can add is thank you, Sarita, for saying that. I had to step out for a few minutes because I was on another call. But yes, as I said, I'm sure this was so inspiring, talking about Krishna, talking about the Buddha and the Mahatma Gandhi in you. And let me say, this is the philosophy Dr. Bhagirath is also following. Be the change you want to see in the world. He's out there to conquer the world, I can tell you that. Thank you for such an inspirational talk, Bhagirath ji.
Thank you so much, Lalit Bhai.
Thank you,
it's an absolute honor and privilege to be here. And I'm deeply grateful to Healing Our Earth group for inviting me here. And I could connect with so many wonderful people here. And it was an honor to meet Sarita ji here. And we have something in common, that is NLP. And I also go for NAC, that is Tony's neuroassociative conditioning thing. That's advanced version of NLP that he has done. So there is much in common, but I'll surely get back to you very soon on that, and we'll connect on that for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sorry, Dr. Soda, did you want to add anything else?
No, I'm glad I know we are pretty much on time here. So absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Sarita.
Okay, thank you. And thank you very much, Dr. Jadeja. It's been amazing. It's been a pleasure having you. It's been absolutely informative. It's been, honestly, the baby steps thing is the best thing I like. I think if everybody follows that, then everything's within reach. So thank you very much for your time, Dr. Jadeja. And certainly we must connect again. And I hope to see you again soon as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. And namaste.